And get started. Hello, my name is Keith Hazeman. I'm going to do a persuasive speech today. I'm not going to tell you the topic right off the bat. I'm just going to actually go into some quotes or some statements that people made when they realized that this affected their life. And some of those quotes are, I never thought that this could be such a major health issue in my life. I never knew this could shorten my life. If I knew then what I know now, I definitely would have made some changes in my life. And what are these people speaking about? They're speaking about the effects of sitting too much. It is a health hazard. Some people describe sitting too much as actually being the same as a smoker. There's a medical doctor. His name is James A. Levine. He's also a PhD. He wrote an article for the Mayo Clinic, and in that article is entitled, "What are the risks of sitting too much?" Levine says in that article, research has linked sit-in for long periods of time with a number of health concerns, including obesity, metabolic syndrome. This is a cluster of conditions that includes increased blood pressure, high blood sugar, increased fats around the waist and abdominal area, in addition to cholesterol levels going high. He also says that too much sitting also seems to increase the risk of death from cardiovascular disease and cancer. And Levine, he wrote that article back in September 2015. So think about that. The same effects of being a smoker has also contributed to sitting too much. I mean, I find that's really fascinating, and I had no idea that it could be that way. I know a lot of people are saying, well, you're just sitting there. How can it be that bad for you? You have to think about what the word sit-in actually means. It means that you're not moving. You're stationary. It means that you're stagnant. All these things that are really bad for you, obviously. And we also heard that Newton says that a body in motion will stay in motion and a body at rest will stay at rest. So we should also think about that not for like planets and things that are out in outer space, but actually for our own bodies as well, that our bodies are designed to be moving, not to be sitting for long periods of time, and realize the health effects that go along with that. We also can't always see the actual effects of sitting too much. I mean, we can't see someone really that has high blood pressure, can't see someone that has high cholesterol, but there is one thing that we can see when someone sits too much, and that is increased body weight or obesity. So we can see that and be able to do something about that. There's also a thing that's called the freshman 15, if anyone's ever heard of that. Basically what it says is that a college student in their first year will gain 15 pounds, and there's a lot of things that contribute to that. I mean, there's also induced stress because they're in a college situation. The parents aren't there to prepare their meals for them, so maybe they make some bad meal choices. But also the number one thing is that they're sitting more. So you have to study for class, they have to actually sit in class, and they're actually studying a lot more than they did in high school, so that contributes a lot to that weight gain. There's also someone that wrote an article that was actually worded just like that. The article that was written for healthykids.org entitled "What's Behind First Year Weight Gain?" And the author of that article is Larissa Hirsch. She is a medical doctor, and her quote from that article is, "Studies show that the students on average gain 3 to 10 pounds during the first 2 years of college. Most of the weight gain occurs during the first semester of the freshman year." She wrote that article back in January 2014. So why do they gain so much weight in that first year? Again, it's mostly just because they're just sitting too much, just being able to study too much. College students just spend way too much time just being able to sit on their butts. So they definitely need to get off their butts. But there's some good news also. It's not all bad news, because obviously there's simple steps that we can take to counteract sitting too much. Most experts recommend that for every hour that you sit, you should walk a minimum of 2 minutes to counteract that sitting for long periods of time. There's also another article that I looked up. There's another medical doctor. He wrote an article for the Cleveland Clinic on their website. The man's name is Mahan Fears. He's a cardiologist at the Cleveland Clinic as well. And he shared his thoughts in that article. The article is called "Can Sitting Too Much Cause Your Heart Attack?" is the name of the article. And Dr. Fears in the article suggests that to avoid sitting for prolonged periods of time, consider modifications to the work environment and habits that you have. Being sure to take minimum breaks throughout the day of sitting at the desk. Quick walks or standing or treadmill desk are also alternatives that he suggests as well. Taking the stairs and walking throughout the day, other ways to insert more movements into the workday. He wrote that article back in October 2015. So we should definitely, in addition to that, being able to exercise more as well. And most of the experts recommend for anyone that sits at a desk for 8 hours a day, they should actually be working out for 15 minutes for every hour that they sit at the desk. So someone who works at a desk 8 hours a day, they should be working out 2 hours every day. Doesn't mean it has to be all at one time. It doesn't have to be high intensity. It could be little things like walking, a little bit of weight training, and so forth. You could do like an hour in the morning, an hour in the afternoon, but that'll help get you in better shape and be able to counteract the bad effects of sitting too much. So hopefully this has encouraged you and persuaded you from thinking that maybe sitting for long periods of time is not bad for you, but it actually is. And hopefully you'll get off your butts and do something about it. Thank you very much.
Good job.